We often hear that Islam is a religion of kindness, and it is. But here's a truth many overlook. Islam doesn't ask you to be kind to everyone all the time. That's not compassion. That's carelessness. Mufti Menk reminds us that being endlessly nice, especially to those who harm, manipulate, or oppress, goes against the very justice Islam stands for. In this video, we'll break down why Islam wants you to be wise, not weak, firm, not foolish. Because sometimes the most merciful thing you can do is stop being kind. Watch closely. This may change your mindset. 1. Islam encourages kindness, but not unconditionally. Islam places a strong emphasis on kindness as a central virtue. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was known for his gentleness, patience, and compassion, even toward those who opposed him. The Quran repeatedly instructs believers to speak good words, forgive others, and be generous in their dealings. However, this kindness is never meant to be blind or indiscriminate. Islamic kindness is purposeful and intelligent. It's meant to uplift, not to enable harm. Being kind does not mean being naive or letting others take advantage of your good character. There's a distinction between compassion and submission to injustice. While Islam promotes mercy and forgiveness, it also urges believers to use discernment, to evaluate who is deserving of kindness in a given context. The Prophet himself did not treat everyone the same. He was merciful to the humble, yet firm with oppressors. This shows that kindness in Islam is context-sensitive. It should never compromise truth, justice, or self-respect. Ultimately, true kindness in Islam serves a higher moral purpose. It protects dignity, fosters justice, and nurtures goodness, not just for the individual, but for society at large. Unconditional kindness, when misplaced, can contradict these deeper values. 2. Kindness must be balanced with justice. In Islam, justice is a foundational principle, as essential as mercy itself. The Quran commands believers to uphold justice even if it goes against their own interests or the interests of their loved ones. Quran 4:135. This means that kindness must always operate within the framework of fairness. When kindness turns into complicity with injustice, it loses its moral value. For example, showing gentleness to someone who is actively harming others or violating rights isn't virtue. It can be a form of injustice in itself. Islam teaches us to stand against wrongdoing and to speak the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Being kind in situations where clear moral lines are being crossed can actually reinforce harmful behavior. Justice ensures that kindness doesn't become weakness. It puts limits on where and how compassion should be expressed. This balance is what gives Islamic ethics its strength. It avoids cruelty without encouraging passivity. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was kind, but also firm when the situation called for it. His life demonstrated that standing up against oppression is not a lack of kindness. It's a fulfillment of it. In Islam, justice and kindness are not opposing forces. They complete each other. 3. Being kind to wrongdoers can enable harm. Kindness is a noble trait, but when directed toward the wrong people in the wrong context, it can cause more damage than good. Islam teaches believers to be mindful of how their actions affect not only themselves, but also the community. Showing leniency to someone who consistently commits wrongdoing, especially if they face no consequences, can unintentionally support their harmful behavior. When a person abuses others, spreads corruption, or acts unjustly, offering them kindness without accountability may send the message that their behavior is acceptable. This is not compassion, it's passivity in the face of harm. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned against enabling evil and emphasized stopping wrongdoing through action, speech, or at the very least, disapproval in the heart. Allowing a wrongdoer to operate freely in the name of being nice is not an Islamic value. Islam calls for believers to enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. Turning a blind eye, or worse, extending kindness that shields someone from rightful criticism, undermines this duty. Protecting the community, upholding justice, and preventing harm are greater priorities than maintaining superficial harmony through misplaced kindness. 4. Islam prioritizes wisdom over blind niceness. In Islam, character is guided not just by good intentions, but by hikmah, wisdom. While being pleasant and courteous is encouraged, it must be accompanied by awareness, judgment, and discernment. Blind niceness, without understanding the context or consequences, can lead to harmful outcomes. Islam doesn't promote a naive or overly agreeable attitude that ignores reality or avoids necessary confrontation. The Quran frequently praises those who act with wisdom, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, demonstrated a remarkable ability to read situations and respond appropriately. Sometimes he was gentle, other times firm, always measured and strategic. This balance shows that wisdom dictates when kindness is suitable and when a stronger stance is needed. Blind niceness often stems from a desire to avoid discomfort or conflict, but Islam encourages believers to face the truth and speak it with clarity. It's not righteous to be agreeable at the cost of morality. Wisdom in Islam means doing what is best for the greater good, not just what feels polite in the moment. This includes recognizing when silence, distance, or firmness is more beneficial than a soft response. True character is found not in constant niceness, but in principled, thoughtful action. 5. Setting boundaries is part of mercy. Islam recognizes the value of personal boundaries as a means of preserving dignity, emotional well-being, and spiritual health. Contrary to the belief that mercy means endless tolerance, Islam teaches that saying no and creating space from harmful influences is often the most merciful response, both for yourself and the other person. Boundaries are not signs of arrogance or coldness. They are tools of protection, rooted in self-respect and clarity. When someone consistently violates your trust, disrespects you, or brings negativity into your life, continuing to offer unlimited access to your time and emotional energy does not benefit anyone. By setting firm, respectful boundaries, you prevent further harm and hold others accountable for their actions, a principle that aligns with Islamic values of justice and accountability. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sometimes chose silence, withdrawal, or limitation in relationships where behavior was inappropriate or toxic. These actions were not unkind. They were necessary forms of guidance and self-preservation. Mercy is not about allowing others to cross your limits. It's about choosing what leads to healing, growth, and mutual respect. In this light, setting boundaries becomes an act of wisdom and compassion, not selfishness or cruelty. 6. Standing for truth and justice is more important than being perceived as nice. In Islam, standing for truth, haqq, is a sacred duty, even if it makes you unpopular or misunderstood. While kindness and politeness are encouraged, they are not meant to overshadow the responsibility to uphold what is right. Many people avoid speaking up or taking a firm stance because they fear being seen as harsh or unkind. But Islam teaches that moral courage matters more than public approval. The Quran praises those who bear witness to the truth without fear of blame. This means that being nice at the cost of truth is not a virtue, it's a compromise of faith. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was deeply compassionate, yet he never hesitated to confront falsehood, whether it came from within his community or from outside it. Sometimes speaking the truth requires confrontation, and confrontation doesn't always look gentle. Islam doesn't demand harshness, but it does demand honesty. Remaining silent or overly agreeable in situations of clear wrongdoing can lead to greater harm. Being truthful, even when it's difficult, is a form of integrity, and integrity in Islam is far more valuable than merely being liked. True strength lies in standing firm with grace and principle, not in appeasement. 7. Refusing to support. Wrongdoing is a form of Islamic integrity, and mercy Islamic teachings emphasize the importance of integrity, staying true to moral and ethical principles even when it's difficult. One of the clearest demonstrations of integrity is the refusal to support or enable wrongdoing, regardless of who is involved. Whether it's a friend, family member, or someone in a position of authority, Islam calls on believers to remain firm in their commitment to what is right. Supporting someone in their harmful actions, whether through silence, justification, or passive approval, is not compassion. It is a betrayal of the values Islam upholds. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or oppressed." When asked how one helps an oppressor, he replied, "By stopping him from oppressing." This clearly illustrates that preventing harm, even by withholding support, is a form of help and mercy. Choosing not to participate in or endorse wrongdoing may cause tension or lead to accusations of being judgmental, but in truth, it reflects spiritual sincerity. It protects the rights of others, maintains justice, and honors the trust Allah places in each believer. In Islam, real mercy sometimes means saying enough and walking away from what is unjust. Islam teaches kindness with purpose, not blind tolerance. Being firm, setting boundaries, and refusing to enable harm are all part of living with integrity. Don't confuse being truthful with being harsh, or being kind with being weak. Real mercy lies in wisdom, not in pleasing everyone. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking Islamic insights.